They call him Baba Yaga. But man, Rachel was like Satan in Boogeyman. He was the one who said to kill the fucking Boogeyman.
What it do with the phone? Chime on in, y'all. We got some stuff to cook on today, man. Let's work. What's good with the businesses, man? It's your boy DT3, the Boom Beezy, man. And I'm back at you with another live stream, man. Box Talk 161. Warrington. Commey. Jojo Diaz. What to do with the folk, man? We had a hell of a night of fights last night. And I just want to send a special shout out to Top Rank, The Zone, everybody that put on a great hell of a night of fights last night. Even we had some good UFC fights last night that we're going to cook on this Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, with me, your boy MMA Best Surgeon with the Combat Cannon. Feel free to tune in to get the latest MMA talking news. We will be discussing the recent events with Usman Burns this Tuesday. Me and MMA Best Surgeon, man, tune in. But I want to cook on Warrington. I'm actually watching the fight right now, the Warrington-Lara fight. I'm actually looking at that fight right now as we speak. Literally looking at it, just to let y'all know, like I'm literally looking at the fight right now. Like I'm literally looking at the shit on my phone right now. I ain't gonna show you because I don't want my shit banned. But I'm looking at the fight right now for like the second time to see if there was something that I missed about Warrington's performance. See if it was, because at first I was just looking, I was basically shitting on him. You know what I mean? Because basically I was like, Josh ain't that good. And I came to the same decision, the same revelation that I had when I first saw the fight. Josh Warrington just ain't that good. He ain't that good. Period. I mean, the Carl Frampton fight, the Kid Galahad fight. I think Kid Galahad beat Warrington that night. And you could argue the Carl Frampton fights. You could argue those. But the Kid Galahad fight, Kid Galahad beat Carl Frampton that night. And that night showed you that a good mover, a good solid boxer would give Carl Frampton problems. Carl Frampton only has what? Barely a handful of knockouts. He barely has a handful of knockouts in his career. So he don't got no pop. And from what I'm seeing, he couldn't keep Lara off of him. He fought a good fight for a guy that don't got no real punching power. He fought a good fight for the time that he put in on the fight or whatnot. But Lara just showed that he had just enough pop, had just enough skill to catch him. Mind you, Warrington is not defensively sound. He's very defensively retarded in that sense. He don't got no defense. Josh Warrington don't got no defense. None. He's an offensive guy, throws punches and bunches, came to bang. Tune in Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time for the Combat Cannon if you want to hear me talk about Usman and Burns in the fight, man. I'm not going to talk about that on my boxing talk. Just like I'm not going to talk about boxing on on Combat Cannon. Anybody ask me about boxing on the Cannon MMA podcast, I'm not talking boxing. I'm talking MMA on Combat Cannon with Serge. You want to ask me about boxing? Holla at me right now on Boxing Talk. 161, Warrington, Commey, Jojo Diaz. Period. You know, I didn't think that Warrington was going to lose in the fashion that he lost. I didn't think he was going to lose at all, to be quite honest with you. You know, I thought it was going to be a typical Josh Warrington fight. He wins the fight via points. You know, he basically, Josh Warrington wins all his fights by out-hustling you. He out-hustles you. It's like what Sugar Ray Leonard used to do like the last 10 seconds of the round. Like, he could be losing the fight. Losing the round. He could literally be losing that round, but he'll literally wait till the last 30 seconds, the last 10 seconds, and he'll start shoe shining. He'll start shoe shining his ass off, just start letting his hands go. And what goes on in the judge's mind is the last thing they saw, and the last thing they see is Sugar Ray Leonard doing his window washing, getting off. That's the last thing they see. That takes away from everything that happened to him during that round. And Sugar Ray Leonard was very good at doing that. He's very good at out-hustling you towards the end of the round. And that's what I look at with Josh Warrington. He's good at out-hustling you. He's good at out-punching you. But is he going to go blow for blow, pop for pop? No. But Josh Warrington can out-hustle you. What will mummify Josh Warrington is somebody that got pop. Somebody that could punch. That will slow all those combination punches, slow all that shit down if you got decent pop for Josh Warrington. And Lara had decent pop. Was he the greatest puncher? Hell fucking no. But did he have enough pop to do away with Josh Warrington? Yes. Yes. Which lets you know that a Shakur Stevenson fight, easy work for Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson would stop Josh Warrington. I said he'll stop Josh Warrington because Josh Warrington does not have any defense. Why would you say, Mondo, he's the typical European overrated fighter? Because I never looked at Josh Warrington as being somebody that was overrated or overly hyped. You know, a lot of people never really talked about Josh Warrington too much. You might hear about Josh Warrington from like a Gary Russell or a Shakur Stevenson has spoken up on dude a few times, but to say that he's overrated, like he getting hella endorsements and commercials and all the promotional companies is talking about him. Eddie Hearn is blowing smoke all up motherfuckers' asses and all the shit. Josh Warrington isn't overhyped. Josh Warrington, he won the belt. He got him a belt. He won it fair and square. He reigned as a champion. And he lost. I don't see where he's overrated. Anthony Yarde, you could make that argument for Yarde, Mondo. You could make that argument for a typical overrated European fighter for Anthony Yarde. Because everybody, even myself, hyped up Anthony Yarde, all this shit, lions in the camp, all that, boom, boom. And now look where he at. Look where he at. So I wouldn't say that Josh Warrington is overrated because he was never rated very, very, very high, in my personal opinion. He never was really, no one really rated him super duper high. Excuse my hands, I was cooking frying chicken and shit. What's up with Junior? Yeah, I mean, I think he just had a bad night, but I also think it's due to the fact of Warrington's lack of punch power. Warrington can't punch. He don't got no pop. He don't have no pop. None. He got only, 6, 7 knockouts in 20 some odd fights. But you got to understand this too, Mondo. Everybody and mama was hyping him up. He was hella hyped. The boxing voice, seconds out, was hyping him. Hyping him. Especially when he got that Kovalev fight. Hyping him. And then once he lost to Kovalev, it was over with. All the hype was over. Oh my God. Left hook. Oh, another left hook. Yeah. Warrington don't got no defense. Josh, get your defense up. You don't got no defense. Yeah, I thought Yara was the future. I thought he was going to be the next big thing. And then I thought he was going to beat Kovalev. I thought he had the perfect style to beat Kovalev. Nah. He probably do. He probably got, and that's the thing. I let you know how good fighters really are pertaining to like fighting when it's out, when there's no crowd. Because some fighters, Jojo Diaz is one of them. They feed off the crowd. And I think Josh Warrington is a fighter that feeds off the crowd. Jojo Diaz is also another fighter, feeds off the crowd. He just need that crowd energy, feeds off of it. And I think when it's not there, it do something to them. It's like they need somebody to juice them. They need to be juiced. They don't have that self-confidence or that self-energy. You know what I mean? That self-motivation, that self-determination to push through and make it happen. Yard needs he need anybody but Tundi damn near. I mean, like, cause Tundi not really training him right. He got him to a level, and then it's like he's not going to plateau past that. What's up, LaRon? What's up, Ev? Where you been at, Ev? I ain't seen you in a minute, Ev. Nothing but the rent, bro. Nothing but the rent. Nothing but these bills. So basically, Josh Warren, anytime you take 3 left hooks in succession, not 1, not 2, but 3 left hooks in succession, you either are badly hurt, or you just don't have no defense. And from what I saw, and from what I've seen with a lot of Josh Warrington fights, he don't have no defense. None. I thought he was going to beat Joe Joyce too, but that also show you that skills pay the bills. You need more than power. All Daniel Dubois was a powerhouse. That's all he was. He was a powerhouse. That was it. Once you mummify his best attribute, which is his pressure and getting off his shots, you know, wearing you down, using his power, just overwhelming you and all that shit. Once you take that away from him, he don't got nothing. Daniel Dubois don't got no jab. He don't got no plethora of punches that he can go to. He don't got shit. He don't got nothing. So in my personal humble opinion, there's nothing special about Daniel Dubois. It's nothing special about him. Nothing. He's the prototypical guy who got decent pop. He come forward. Yeah, if he hits you, you going to sleep. That's great. That's awesome. But then there's also fighters that have a lot of speed. And if you let them move around and get off, they can do that shit all night long, like a Tyson Fury. What you do with Tyson Fury, you got to take away his feet, cut the ring off, body work, break him down, get him up out of there. Easy. No, I'm not on Twitter, Ev. I'm on Twitter jail. They gotta let me out. Free DT3 on Twitter jail, man. They won't let a nigga out. Yes, exactly, Mondo. I'm gonna put that comment up here. Mondo says Josh needs to be more defensive because his style is more for someone with power, which is correct. Josh Warrington's style, the way that he fights, you would think the man got some punching power. You would think he got some punching power with the style that he uses, with the style that he applies in his fights. But he don't have no power. You know what I mean? So with the lack of power that Warrington does display, you would think he would be a little more of a boxer, a pure boxer, moving around, slick, head movement, utilizing the jab, keeping everything behind the jab. You know what I'm saying? Doing a little more body work. Stop head hunting so fucking much, Josh. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Banks? What's up with my bruh? You know what I mean? So, in that sense, you would think with his style that he got popped, but he don't. And Josh, with your style, you need head movement because you don't have the power to fight the fights that you're fighting. You're basically saying, I could take yours, but you can't take mine. But you're pillow-fisted in the division. You're the most pillow-fisted dude in the division, and you just so happen to be a champion. Okay? Once somebody can handle you being able to out-hustle them, because you could damn near out-hustle anybody unless they got punching power. And if they got punching power, they could mummify your hustle. Because while you trying to get off and window watch, pop, pop, you going to stop, reassess like what you did with Laura. Because every time Laura caught your ass coming in or caught you coming out, you reassess. You didn't just, like how you fought Frampton, you just went at Frampton. Kid Galahad, you just went at Kid Galahad. You just went at him. But when you fight somebody that got a decent pop, they make you reassess. Pop, oh, wait, hold up. Okay, I'm gonna go in. Pop, nope, reassess. What's up, Chain White Ice? What's good with the folk? So, what Laura did, which is also something I'm gonna say, because people will shit on Laura because don't nobody know who he is. And just because you don't know who he is, don't mean he's not a good fighter. Don't mean he can't beat none of the top dudes because you don't know who his name is. That's another issue I got in boxing. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit, but Laura showed that if you got enough pop, you can give them issues. Oh, what I'm cooking on? I'm cooking on Warrington. What's up, D Jeff? I'm cooking on. Matter of fact, bring your little black ass up in here. You better not be wearing no Ohio State hats and shit. Better have some Penn State shit on or something, some Notre Dame shit. Come up in here with some Ohio State shit. We're gonna have a fight. It's gonna be a problem. Penn State. It's for D Jeff. If D Jeff got some time, feel free to slide on the panel, D Jeff. Not for nobody else, only for my boy D Jeff. Feel free to hit the link, D Jeff. You already know what's up. But yeah, but like I was saying, if you have enough pop, you can mummify Warrington. That's why Shakur Stevenson will give him problems. That's why any decent fighter with enough power will give Josh Warrington problems. Give him fits. Give him fits. What's up, D Jeff?
What up, dog? What up? I got my robe on.
That's what but don't come here with that Ohio State shit.
Nah, I got two. You know, I just gave one of those hats away to this lady at the gas station.
Okay, but good for her.
Yeah.
We are Penn State. What's up, holla? Holla, holla, holla. So before I go to the next topic, what do you think about the Warrington Laura fight? What's your take on it?
What's up, Leighton Mandel Solo, Aobs Jr.? Man, look, I tell you like this. It was just a matter of time with Warrington. And I said last night, I think a lot of people got upset. This fight showed me Shakur would have beat the hell out of her. Then they got bad. They was like, well, you're taking away from Laura. I said, no, Laura had a great victory. Great victory. He showed a lot of resilience, heart, and a chin. But how much of a chin did he really show? I'm not trying to disrespect Laura because Josh Warrington was 30 with 7 knockouts. Was he really a big puncher?
That's what I'm saying. And you fighting like you a big puncher.
When he got hurt, when Josh Warrington got hurt.
What, in the fourth? In the fourth, he got hurt?
Yeah, when he initially got hurt, he started boxing. Should have been doing that from the beginning, and he would have won that fight. Because Laura was loopy. You know, no, Josh couldn't hurt him, but he was in there trying to bang with him. And Laura was banging back with him, but his punches were effective, and Josh's weren't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Shakur, I don't think he's the biggest puncher. But his skill, he'll outbox a guy like that. A guy completely aggressive, then sloppy with his punches. Shakur will just
Mm-hmm.
outbox a guy like that. A guy that's pillow fisted like Josh Warrington. He doesn't place his punches technically as Shakur. He's not as crisp. He's not as clean with his
I was gonna
punches. So
say that.
Shakur's going to outbox these guys like that, right? It's sort
Mm-hmm.
of like that kid Richard Richardson Hitchens, I meant. He can box his ass off, but he don't have any power. But he can box his ass off. So these guys like Josh Warrington, he has a high work rate, but he has flaws, and that was exposed last night.
Mm-hmm. I think, and also with Shakur Stevenson's combination punching and his accuracy, all that's gonna play dividends. And Curtis Jones just said Shakur ain't got pop, but he got more. I believe he got more pop than Lara, and I believe he got enough pop to stop Warrington. I'm not saying he's the biggest power puncher, but he got enough pop to make you respect his game.
Boone, I gotta be honest. He might not have as much pop as Lara. He absolutely might not. He's quicker and his punch placement is better. You know, he's more technical, but he may not have as much power as Lara. They both. I think he's older. I think he's older too. Lara's only like 22, right? Mauricio Lara.
Yeah, Lara young, man. He looked older though. I thought he was an older cat when I first saw him, and then I was like, oh shit.
Nah, I think he's like 22 years old. So he may actually, but he's terribly sloppy, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, he shouldn't have been trying to. Warrington should have been trying to continuously bang with a guy he know that could bang harder than him. But it also goes to show you that you gonna go back to what you know. Like what you were saying in the beginning, he was banging with Lara, and then he got caught, and he went back to boxing. And then as the fight went on, it was like Warrington slowly, gradually went right back in the stand in the pocket with him. It was like he went right back to what he knew, and eventually he got caught with them 3 left hooks. Put him on his ass, as you can see in the background. Lara left heavy-handed. Hold up, let me see what Obies was talking about. Lara heavy-handed. He was moving Josh's whole body with punches. What's up, Myron? What's up with the folk?
I do them in the building. What's good, Myron?
I do think that Shakur got enough pop though. I think speed equals power, and I do think he has the pop, or a little bit more pop, if not as much pop as Lara. Just based on what I've seen, Lara and Lara is not a known knockout artist. Last time I checked, unless you know something I don't know. Do you? I mean, if you did any research on this guy,
he's not a power puncher. It's just he was nobody. All right, so. When you got a guy, in my opinion, that has decent pop, like, you know, Terrence, enough to keep you off of him, keep you honest. Right. You can't keep taking hits from a guy like that. He doesn't have to be the biggest power puncher, but eventually for 12 rounds, you keep taking hits like that, you're going to break you down inside of those rounds. And that's pretty much what he did to Lara. He's not like this concussive puncher, but those body shots he was landing and those overhands, those hooks, that shit added up, man. And eventually just put Josh away because although Josh was landing just as many, wasn't affecting Lara the way it was affecting Josh.
It wasn't, man. You were seeing Warrington hit Lara, and then like his face wouldn't even like turn or mudge or nothing. He just like he would just eat it and keep coming, and it's like you can't fight the phone booth fight with a guy like that, Warrington. You just can't do it. And
Gary Russell would have beat the hell out of him. Boxer logic.
Of course he would have. Cause didn't Gary Russell and Shakur Stevenson was lightweight campaigning for a Josh Warrington fight and never got it, but wasn't they campaigning for that?
Gary Russell would have beat him. Shakur would have beat him. Josh Warrington is look, man, look. See, here we go. This is be something that's gonna tick people off. He a domestic level fighter, fam. He a domestic level fighter. That's it. He's not a world level fighter. I don't care what title he held. This proves he's not ready for the world level competition. That's just how it is. He can beat a lot of guys up in the UK and some of these other countries, but when he comes to tough guys, he's not gonna be able to cut the mustard, man.
And isn't that isn't that the thing that get Josh Warrington by? Is he's a tough guy, and it's like tough ain't enough. He ain't
Could
the
you
only
imagine Josh Warrington getting in there with Tank?
Tank stops him. Easy.
Like
Within
this,
5.
he can't cut the mustard, man. Josh just can't cut the mustard.
He stops him. He don't got no defense. He don't got no. It's like you don't. It's one thing you don't have no defense. And if you ain't got no defense, at least have punching power. You can't not have defense and you ain't got punching. You gotta at least have defense, because at least Paulie Malignaggi might not have had the best punching power. Really, none at all. He had with like 5 knockouts his whole career. But he had
Malignaggi was a
amount of defense.
He was pillow fisted as hell.
Yeah,
that's why it was wild to me why he ever thought he could compete in bare knuckle boxing. Like that was crazy. I was like, what the hell is Paulie thinking? You couldn't punch in regular boxing just because you take the gloves off. You think you're gonna have punching power, dude? You can't punch.
Nope, can't punch. And I think he's probably thinking he was gonna go in there and basically outbox these dudes. It's like, no, Paulie.
Man, that dude Arthur beat his ass. You gonna smack me? I'm gonna beat your ass in here. He had Paulie lumped up at the end. Hey man, did you see yeah, you did see it. You was on last night, but I was doing the fights. I was doing live commentary too, so I know you did see the Usman.
Yeah, I'm gonna cook on that on Tuesday. I'm gonna wait for Tuesday for that. I don't want to give people too much on that right now.
Let's keep it boxing. Yeah, well,
yeah,
man,
I'm gonna just do my boxing. But I also want to cook on this since you on here. You're the perfect person to have on here since I'm finna cook on this. Since everybody got something to say about this particular fighter, and since they thought that the fighters that he fought wasn't really all that, and by the looks of in hindsight, when you look at Commey, what they just recently did, and what Nakatani recently did, it makes you put a lot more respect. And D gonna probably put his picture up for Teofimo Lopez. We gonna cook on Commey's fight, which I felt Commey looked great. I felt like he looked a better version of himself. He didn't look very stiff. He looked fluid. I watched Commey train for that fight. Commey looked real smooth, real loose, real fluid. I love what I saw from Commey, and it makes you put some respect on Teofimo to take over Lopez's name, because he beat Commey and Nakatani and Lomachenko, Vasily Lomachenko, back to back. He didn't fight no tune-ups in between. He fought Commey first, won the belt, fought Nakatani, which everybody shitted on him for the way that he performed against Nakatani. But if you look at the way Nakatani just won his last fight, now what you gonna say? Then he fights Commey, gets Commey up out of there, make Commey look easy work, and we all know Commey is not no easy work. Then he fights arguably the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in all of boxing, beats him. Put some respect on Teofimo to take over fucking Lopez's name. And I'm done. Go ahead, D.
Oh, I mean, look, it is what it is. I gotta work on a video about it though. But I was saying that last night after the fight, that you look at the opponents that these guys face and what they do after, what they've done before and what they did after, right? And it's just simple. Richard Commey got himself to a championship. And Nakatani, I always said, well, the people know, they just thought he was some Japanese guy. But at the time, he was the #1 Japanese lightweight coming out of Japan. And he was ranked on the world level higher than Teofimo Lopez. And this was a guy that had pop with him. You know, he had height and length over Teofimo. And that's the kind of fight that gets a fighter better, especially if you win. It can get you better even if you lose in a fight like that. But when you win, it builds your confidence up, let you know that you can make it through a fight like that. So that fight helped Teofimo beat Richard Commey and then go forward to beat Lomachenko because his confidence is on high. He's beating these champions. And when these guys come back and perform, the way they perform after being beaten by Teofimo. It just shows you the level of opponent this kid is beating, man. Luke Campbell, let's keep it real. Luke Campbell's good, but it's very possible that Commey beats him. I'm pretty sure Nakatani probably does beat him, right? So this is what you got to think about. So that's who Ryan beat. And there's no need to talk about Tank and Devin because theirs is Gamboa. So it's no need to
that's they
discuss them.
dude, Gamboa. That's their name.
That's where they peak at, Gamboa, right? So it's crazy, man. This kid Teofimo, and the worst thing is the toughest guy, at least considerably at the time, the toughest guy, Lomachenko, he took a $1.4 million pay cut to fight him. Junior Lopez said $2 million because they were supposed to get money on the back end.
Mm-hmm. See?
So all those kids are making money for doing less. Tank's making more than T.O., Ryan's making more than T.O., Devin's making more than all of them. And look at what he's doing compared to what they're doing. But all we got to keep hearing about is money. Javier Fortuna get ready to duck out of the Haney fight, getting there with Ryan. Why? Money.
Money.
All we got to keep hearing about. Money.
Mm-hmm. It don't make sense, D. It don't make sense. These fights don't make sense. Why make these fights? They don't make sense, D.
Yeah.
Don't make no sense to me. Why y'all can't make these fights that everybody willing to pay for, but like they saying they don't want to be crash test dummies. As Leonard Ellaby say, we not crash test dummies. We not just in this to get punched on. We in this, this is a business. So, they don't care about, being the best in the game. You can have that. Certain fighters can have that. Yeah. Teofimo Lopez is probably one of those fighters they feel like he could be the best in boxing. He can have all the belts. They want all the money. But at the same time, when Eddie Hearn offered him the bag, they too caught up trying to be A-side, B-side shit.
Yeah, the only thing that I don't like, and I gave Teofimo a whole lot of heat on this, was where he said, what Haney has to do. I didn't like that statement because it's cool for Bob Arum to say that because Bob says that out of financial reasons, right? Haney's not going to bring him the value he needs to make money off of that fight. So he can say that because Haney was supposed to shine for the zone purposes in that fight with Gamboa. That was supposed to be a fight that makes you a draw. It wasn't just about beating Gamboa. We all knew you could beat Gamboa. It was the fashion that you beat him in. Fans want excitement. And that fight was lackluster. And so Bob Arum wants him to do something that's exciting or beat someone that's exciting. And so it's cool for Bob to say that. Teofimo, you although you're doing more than the rest, you're not done, kid. Like, you starting off too. So I don't like any of these young guys to start talking like that. Not even Teofimo. Because yes, you beat Commey and you beat Lomachenko, but you ain't done. You're not done. Fighting Devin Haney, he's the champion. Forget about how he has it. He's the champion now. This is what you need to keep doing. Just focus on what you need to keep doing. Keep fighting champions. You think Canelo focuses on Charlo and these other guys and Plant not doing enough and all of that? Nope. He's just going out and he's creating his path. He's beating the champions. Whoever the champion is at the time, I'm going to beat you up, right? You continue to do that, people can hate all that they want. But when you start talking like you Floyd, fam, and you only fought Nakatani, Commey, and Lomachenko, like, slow your roll. You still got a lot more to go. So I had to flame Teofimo for saying that, that same statement that Bob said, because to me, Bob has the right to say it. As a young fighter, you don't have the right to say that. Go get in there and fight Haney. Fuck that. I got to call it straight all around the board, bro. Even though everybody know Teo's my guy, but you can't say that. You got to get in there and fight all of these guys. If Ryan presents himself, fight him. Tank, fight him. Devin, fight him. Move up, fight Zepeda. But you don't talk about what fights you're not willing to take or no. As a fighter, you fight the fights. You don't talk about what you're not willing to take. Don't worry about what Devin Haney has earned. If he hasn't earned it, then you get him in the ring, you beat the hell out of him, and show him why he hasn't earned it. That's what you do as a fighter. You let Bob talk about what he needs to do.
You think that if T.O. moves up in his next 2 fights, you think it's going to be because either Bob isn't willing to make payout for the fight, or you think that Devin Haney isn't trying to make the fight happen? Because I honestly think T.O. might end up moving up, because I see nobody's really trying to fight T.O. I think nobody's trying to fight him. I think everybody's going to, every time opportunity comes up to fight him, it's going to be they booked somewhere else or they got another fight somewhere else. And I think they're going to try to, like, in a sense, blackball him from trying to be an undisputed in the division. And I think he's going to end up moving up to 140 and possible fighting the winner of Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez. That's what I think might happen, because I don't see these dudes being eager to fight him.
I think there's 3 people that legitimately want to fight him. Here's my opinion on it. I think it's 3 people that legitimately want to fight him. Lomachenko legitimately wants a rematch. So yeah. I believe he legitimately wants to fight Teofimo. Kambosos Jr. is not afraid of Teofimo Lopez. And he's earned his right by beating Lee Selby, taking the path. He wants to cash in. I think I'm confident that he legitimately wants to fight Teofimo. The issue going on with them is money, obviously, because that thing's going in the purse bid on the 18th of this month. The third person that I don't agree with any of these narratives, I do believe that they legitimately want to fight. It's just the money. Neither side can make the money work right now. And that's Devin Haney. I believe the Haneys really want to fight Teofimo Lopez, but they don't want to pay what Teofimo wants to earn. See, this is the thing. They have to understand this. They keep, like, and I talk to Bill all the time. I got much respect for Bill. I just had him on my show for like 4 hours the other day. But here's the thing. I just mentioned this. He took a $1.4 million pay cut. We know all of that from base pay. And Junior Lopez said they were supposed to get some more, so it came out to like a $2 million pay cut. You cannot say that, well, his best payday was 1.7. No, it's not that simple. Because of the pandemic and everything, he had no choice but to take a cut. His best pay was supposed to be like 3.6 million, which means if you want him to fight Haney, then you need to start talking numbers over that, because this is the kid that's earning that. Well, what's going on is Bill and them running around talking about he's overpricing himself. No, but if you look at the grand scheme of things, he's not actually overpricing himself. He's getting what he feels he earned, and by what he's doing right now and what you kids are getting paid, he has actually earned that. So the numbers are not right there. They can't make those numbers work, because without the fans, they can't really afford to pay Teal what he's worth. They pretty much know he's worth that, but without the fans, they can't really afford that much money. And so I think that they legitimately want to fight him, though. I think Bill and Devin believe they can beat Teal. They beat him before in sparring. I think the claim is it went 1-1. Of course, Devin claims he won both times. Teal claims he won both times. Then there's claims it went 1-1. They gave work to each other, right? Either way, I don't think he's afraid to get in there. He legitimately wants to get in there. The numbers are not right. As far as Lomachenko and Kambosos Jr., yeah, they want to fight him again. Loma definitely wants his chance back at him. And Kambosos is not scared of him. He's not smart enough to be scared of him, because if he thinks that performance with Lee Selby is enough to get him past Teofimo, he's crazy. So
he's not smart enough.
No, he's not smart enough to be afraid of him, but he's definitely not afraid of him, and he wants to get in there and fight Teofimo. But with that being said, though, Boone, here's the problem. We may not get the Devin Haney fight, but Bill already talked about fighting Teal at 140.
Yeah, I heard. That's what I thought was going to happen until Devin Haney got the belt at 35. And I'm like, I guess they're going to fight at 35.
It's more about the 4-belt undisputed. Excuse me. It's more about the 4-belt undisputed at 135, but they understand that it's really not too much they could complain about and step in the way of Kambosos Jr. You can't call the man a duck, because if you're making it about 4-belt undisputed, well, without him fighting Kambosos Jr., it won't be 4-belt undisputed. The IBF will strip him, which means essentially you guys fight will be for 3 belts. So you can't make the whole argument about he has to see you for 4-belt undisputed. If he gets stripped by Kambosos Jr., there wouldn't be that match anyway. So they're getting to the point where they know that they can't shame Teo into this fight. He can't stick around but for so long because he has to move up. It's already difficult to make 135. The kid's walking around at like 160, 165. He's cut 30, 35 pounds. And he's 23, which means he's still growing, right? Nah, he can't stay there. He's going to have to go. Even Bill was telling me Devin's going to have to go soon. He just told me this Thursday when he was on the show. Like, Devin's going to have to go up soon. They can't stick around there too long. The problem is there's no bag at 40. The bag is at 35.
35.
That's why both of them hanging around 35. Tank is a bag. Ryan's a bag. Lomachenko's a bag. Devin's a bag. Nobody a bag up it. Pedraza's not a bag. Zepeda's not a bag. Josh and Ella get ready to fight themselves. Progray's not a bag. They're good competition. There's a lot of competition up there, but there's no money there.
Yeah.
So they're hovering around 135, but it's not for as much as people believe it is. As far as the Undisputed, you got Devin Haney, DHP Promotions partner, Eddie Hearn, denouncing these belts at this point in time. They're not even feeling the belts right now. So it's more about the finances behind it. It's the same shit with Spence and Crawford, man. It's more of the finances behind it. Al Heyman nor Bob Arum can afford to stage that fight right now without the fans. So we can blame Spence, we can blame Crawford, but the reality is they cannot stage the fight without the fans feasibly. It's not going to make any sense financially for either of them. So you think Bob cares if it goes to purse bid? I don't want to pay for that shit anyway. He doesn't want to have to pay Terrence Crawford what he signed him for because he feels like he signed Terrence Crawford for too much. So now
it's bad.
It is. I agree with you, but that's just the reality of it. He doesn't want to have to pay him his base minimum, but that's what he signed him for. This fight's too expensive for Arum. This fight's too expensive for the PBC. They don't want to have to cover Crawford and pay Spence either because there's no fans. Same shit going on with a lot of these fighters, bro, and these situations. Devin Haney is money. Money, follow the money. It'll give you the answer to all the problems, man.
That's all these dudes care about is getting into that bag, man. That's all they own is getting to that bag. So what do you think about this comment right here from Curtis Jones before we get to the next topic about Teofimo possibly? I don't think he is, but he says he's pricing himself out.
Well, Curtis Jones must have a buildup of wax in his ears or something. Because I just explained that to his ass if he don't get it. It's not about pricing himself out. Did you just hear the value that... Listen, Curtis Jones, this is how it works. When you fight the big fights, you increase your value. You don't diminish it, okay? So the value of the Lomachenko fight was not the 1.7. The 1.7 was the value due to the pandemic. The value of the Lomachenko fight was closer to 3.6 million, which Lomachenko and Teofimo was supposed to get well over 3 million prior to the pandemic. So his value goes up from there. It doesn't go down. So you can't say he's pricing himself out when you see the hardware he's holding. Look at the picture, Curtis. Wake up. Look at the goddamn picture. You see that hardware? Your value doesn't decrease when you earn that hardware for essentially 3.6 million, Curtis.
Man, he got 5 belts right there, man, plus lineal.
And Ring Magazine.
I'm just saying, man.
And fight of the year.
If you get more stock in you off of one belt, how much stock you supposed to get off of 5?
But it's also fighter of the year, Ring Magazine, lineal champion. Dude, are you like Curtis? Are you serious, bro? The stock increases, right? You got all of those belts, Ring Magazine, lineal champion, 5 fighter of the year, Ring Magazine champion, all of that, Curtis, and you telling me he's supposed to get what, 3.6? No, you're supposed to get more than that. So how is he pricing himself out? What you have to understand is Hearn and them can't afford to pay 6 or 7 right now. They can't. But that's what he should get. If they want, it's Devin Haney. Look, again, what does Teofimo need Devin Haney for? The only thing you guys can say, that's right, Curtis, hold your head and listen. The only thing you can say, Aobs, you're 100% idiot. Just listen up too. The only thing you can say that he needs Devin Haney for is the 4-belt undisputed. You guys are not listening. That's it. Give me another reason that he needs Devin Haney for. Look at the straps he's holding. Look what that. To be legitimate 4-belt undisputed, because there's a dispute over the belts. If he doesn't fight Kambosos Jr., it will not be a 4-belt undisputed match. You guys listen. Wake up and listen to this. So if he doesn't fight Kambosos Jr., it won't be a 4-belt undisputed match. Therefore, after he fights Kambosos Jr., the Haneys have to do what? Come up with the money, because now he will be even more valuable. He's a guy that won all of these titles and defended them again. Come on, bro. Think about it. Well, Aobs, clean the wax out of your ear, because we just talked about that too. What the hell is wrong with y'all?
It is what it is, but we go move on from that. That is what it is. We done already made our points pertaining to that. What's up, Major Key? If I missed you, bro, what's up, Major Key? But I want to cook on the guy that you had on here before, Castano, Teixeira, possible fight with Charlo. I like what I saw from Castano last night. I think he's a good fighter, but I think Jermell got just enough pop to keep him at bay. I think Jermell's
his ass out.
I think the punching power is what's going to be the difference maker in the fight. I think Castano's aggression is going to work to his detriment. It's going to be a detriment to him, because it's not going to be what he think it's going to be against a Jermell Charlo who can move, who got good feet, who is not going to be there the way that Teixeira was last night. And Jermell do utilize his jab. His jab is a lot more thudding, has a lot more impact than Teixeira's jab. I did say Teixeira was going to have to utilize his length and his jab to keep Castano off of him, which he did do early in the fight. But, of course, Castano's relentless pressure, constant coming forward, not taking too many backward steps, if any, just kind of just broke him down as the fight went on, even though he did go to hole 12, but I just felt like Castano kind of dictated the pace of that fight. Teixeira did do some things that was good, that was decent to keep Castano at bay at some points in the fight, but not enough. And I see the certain points in the fight where Teixeira was successful. Castano is not going to want Jermell Charlo to be successful in those same spots, because he's possible to go down or go to sleep.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful breakdown. And everything that you were saying was a possibility. That's just how it's going to happen. Because fighters fight the way they fight. Right? Yeah, that's why it was a beautiful breakdown, because that's exactly how this shit is going to happen, fam. Castano is a pressure fighter. He's a pressure fighter that comes forward. That's how he finds his success. He's not a boxer. And the problem is, when Teixeira was firing off those 1-2s, and he was throwing some decent combinations. And every time he started throwing off those 1-2s, following it with a hook to the body, and put Brian Castano on the back foot, you saw Brian Castano's difficulties. He can't fight really off the back foot, because that's not what he does. You think Jermell ain't going to put him on the back foot? Teixeira can't punch.
No, he can't.
When Jermell hits him, the back foot is a coming. And when that back foot come, Jermell going to keep coming. He's going to knock Castano out. What I do like about that fight is that this gives us a third, and we probably will get all three. This gives us, people, a third 4-belt undisputed match this year. We'll probably get all three of them. Josh Taylor Ramirez, Castano, and Jermell Charlo, and Tyson Fury and Joshua. 3 of them.
I'm sold on Castano, Jermell, and Ramirez. I'm not too sold on Fury, Joshua yet.
That shit is in the books. It's going down. Let me tell you, at this point, the only thing that could stop this fight, which I don't think anybody believes. I don't think anybody's sold on this story. The only thing that could stop this fight right now is Glovegate. And I don't think anybody's sold on that story. That's literally the only thing that can stop this fight. Glovegate.
Right. Okay.
Well,
one thing I will say, Obi, is that I knew that Teixeira wasn't gonna beat Jamil. When I first saw that was gonna be a potential fight for Jamil before this fight was announced, I was like, yeah, Teixeira is not gonna do shit with Jamil. Jamil gonna knock his ass out. He's not gonna do nothing. Pillow fisted, all the shit. What I will say, to credit to Jamil, this is a good marquee opponent for him to beat. It's a better opponent than Teixeira. So
yeah, that was proven last night. Who's the better opponent between them two? And it's a good thing that Teixeira won, because I was telling everybody this before the fight. Patrick Teixeira's team was talking about fighting Tim Tszyu had they won. Money, boom, money. Those Aussies love Tim Tszyu. And they was going to put up the bread for Teixeira. We got to remember, it all comes down to money. PBC.
So who putting up the money for the Fury and Joshua fight? The Saudis?
Probably the Saudis, probably so. I'm telling you, because it's gonna be no good for the UK fans. I will say that. I think it's really bad for them, because they really deserve that fight to be staged over there. But it can't make money there the way it can make money with the Saudis. And one thing they need with this fight, they're talking about this fight rivaling the top 5 in boxing. So this fight, they'll get down up in there with the Floyd, and you know what I mean? So who's going to offer that kind of money? The Saudis.
The Saudis.
They can play with that kind of money. It's like weekend money to them. They don't really care about making a profit. It's for their entertainment. They'll blow up $500 million for their entertainment.
We need more Saudis in boxing. They don't care about money. They got oil money. They don't care. What? You mean to tell me we gotta pay them $10 million? Yeah, here, take it. We love it. Yay. And they sit there and watch that shit and not give a fuck, because they finna get $1 billion next week.
They built a whole venue just to stage that fight with Joshua and Andy Ruiz. That's the sole reason they built that whole venue, just to stage that fight. They got money to blow, man. They got money to blow.
MMA champ says Castano's mandatory is Tim Tszyu. He has to fight him before he fights Jamil.
Yeah, man. MMA champ don't understand. We've been talking about money this whole morning. Money talks, MMA champ.
Yeah, man. One thing I will tell you, MMA champ, boxing ain't like MMA. There's loopholes.
And then not only that, he telling me about some damn Tim Tszyu. Like, he doesn't understand that Castano's is right within the PBC. Bro, you think they're going to make happen whatever they want to make happen, MMA champ. Both fighters inside the PBC, too. You must have lost your mind if you think as crooked as this sport is, that they're not going to make that fight happen. You must have bumped your head.
And they trying to promote the stars in the world, and they trying to promote their fighters to be stars. And Jamil is the closest one out of the Charlo brothers to reach star status in the sport, to be the first undisputed light middleweight champion since Winky Wright.
Man, ain't nobody worried about no goddamn Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu, Patrick Teixeira and them was going after Tim Tszyu because they knew going after Charlo was a death sentence. So, of course, they're going to willingly go after Tim Tszyu.
Yep. And
Castano's a warrior. Castano's a fucking warrior. He's going to fight whoever. You can see it in him, bro. He's going to fight. So, whoever they set him up to fight, man, you acting like now, MMA champ, at the PBC. This is what's funny to me, bro. When they ready to criticize someone at the PBC, right, it's all about, whatever I'll say, that's what goes. But then in a situation like this, now he's going to act like it's not what I'll say goes. It's that situation, what I'll say goes. Now, do you think he says Castano goes to Tszyu, or do you think he says that Castano goes to his guy Charlo? Think about it. Get out of here with that, bro. They're gonna do everything they can, MMA champ, to keep the belts in-house. Right? Just like Bob Arum finagled with Mauricio Suleiman to keep all of those belts Teofimo wearing in-house. When they have the opportunity to keep the belts in-house, MMA champ, they're going to make it happen. So you, sir, me to understand how the business works. So I always tell you, you always want to challenge me on anything you hear me say, but you don't understand half the shit I do, MMA champ. You're 15, bro. Get some life up on you. Get some experience in there.
Champ, you only 15?
Yeah, he 15.
Just not hit puberty?
Think he know every goddamn thing. That kid listening to L Dog and H Money. That ain't gonna teach you boxing, boy.
Man, you gotta get it together, bro. You still can't control yourself when the wind blows.
Yeah, exactly.
You still gotta figure that out yet. But Warren, he said Warrington on the hospital bed holding. Stupid. Eddie couldn't keep him active, advised him to give his title away, made him look like he ducked kid rematch, and now look at him. Should have stayed with Frank.
He was better off keeping his belt fighting Kid Galahad.
For real. But for some reason, it's like they blackball Kid Galahad for some reason. Like, Kid Galahad is good, man. He really is. He's good. I felt like he beat not Frampton. I felt like he beat Warrington the first time. That's crazy.
So did Kid Galahad. So did Kid Galahad. That motherfucker was pissed.
For real. It was hella hot.
Okay, look. I gotta ask you this, boo. Rock him off. Did you see the fight? Jojo Diaz and Rock him off?
Yes, we was just gonna segue our ass right on into that, but yeah, come on, let's talk about it. Let's cook.
Man, listen. I'm getting a lot of heat. And I'm gonna go rewatch the fight because I can't keep telling everybody, go rewatch the fight. And I haven't rewatched it myself yet. Because I'm being a little biased on my opinion. Because I did blow-by-blow analysis on the fight. I did the fight last night. So I will say I'm being a bit biased. But what a lot of people don't understand is when you do blow-by-blow analysis, bro, you can't tell me personally, how many punches was thrown and this, that, and the third. No, I wasn't counting them up, but I was sitting there watching. You telling me CompuBox have never been proven to be accurate, ever. I'm sitting there calling it blow by blow, watching the fights. I'm seeing punches slip through the guard and snap the guy's head back. So don't tell me that these punches are not landing. And the thing that I'm saying with Rakimov is after round 7, I noticed this specifically because I kept saying it on the live. After round 7, round 8, 9, and 10, all 3 of these rounds, Rakimov clearly won, and here's the reason why. The first minute of the round, he kept on these 1-2-1s, shot to the body. He was slipping one through the glove. He was getting one down to the body. He would do that for the first minute of the round, which means essentially he's taking the first minute of the round. And the last 2 minutes of those rounds, they were going back and forth. Now, if you have a back and forth fight, but he controlled the first third of the round, who wins the fight? Who wins that round? Rakimov was winning those rounds. Clearly winning those rounds. And this is how it was going. And so I'm like, bro, even Chris Manning's dumbass had it 9-3. Even Chris Manning's 8-4.
He ended up being a draw on Manning's card though, too.
Yeah, I'm talking going out of the 7th, I meant. When we was coming out of the 7th, he had Rakimov winning 3 rounds. Chris Manning's 3 rounds because it came up on the screen. So you mean to tell me, Chris Manning's, did you give him 8, 9, and 10? Although he came out completely controlling the beginning of the round. That's something that I know I'm not going to see different because I made a point of it. Now, I'm going to go back and rewatch the fight, but I implore everyone else to go back and rewatch that fight and watch after round 7. The first minute of 8, 9, and 10, the first minute of the round, Rakimov was totally controlling the first minute of the round, and Castano wasn't landing a damn thing. And Castano would come back when it's going into 1 minute 58, 1 minute 56. That's when Castano would start coming on, and then they going back and forth. So if that's the case, and those rounds are going back to back like that, that means those are clearly Rakimov's rounds.
I thought Rakimov won it by a round. I thought he won by a round.
I say 8-4. I gave it 8-4. I'm not even bullshitting. I couldn't give Jojo, no more than 4 rounds of that fight.
Because Jojo looked better when he fought Gary Russell Jr. in the loss. He looked better when he fought Tevin Farmer. He looked terrible. And honestly, I wish I would give him the cannon if I was on it. But either still, bro, I feel like the reason why Jojo Diaz fought the way he fought is because of Jojo Diaz. Lack of discipline, all that shit. Jojo Diaz was not training. He wasn't working during this pandemic. None of that shit. He wasn't doing none of that. He was just fucking off, eating good, chilling, all the shit. And I felt like it's Jojo Diaz's fault. It's your fault. Why this fight is a draw? Because honestly, you should have lost. Because I said this to Johnny Boy. I said this would be so sad if he loses his belt to the scale and then lose the fight. So Jojo Diaz was gifted a draw, in my opinion. Like that saved him from losing his belt from the scale. Because hence he would have lost his belt to the scale and lost.
That's what I said last night. That's exactly what I said last night. Gifted a draw.
He was gifted that draw. Like I said that when I said, man, that was a gift. Like I thought Rakhimov won by at least a round or two. Like I felt like, and I'm not saying like barely won by a round or two. I'm saying like I decisively would say he won the fight. It's not maybe, like, no. Now, don't be wrong, Jojo Diaz tried to come on late, but it's like what that happened with Lomachenko. You can't give up 7-8 rounds and then think because you turned up at the end of the fight that you gonna win. Like, no, you gave up too much. And I think Jojo Diaz, the lack of training, the lack of discipline, showed up in this fight. It showed up. Because Jojo Diaz, honestly, didn't even look like Jojo Diaz. He looked like a shell of himself. And that's your fault, Jojo. You know you got fights coming up. You know you want to fight. You know you in the talks of making a fight happen. So why are you not in the gym? You are a professional athlete. You're a professional fighter. You have to constantly be in the gym, constantly working out, constantly being in shape. Because you never know when you may get that call. And you, at the time, and you a world champion, you supposed to be in top optimal shape, period. Especially as a world champion. There's no excuse why you are not prepared to defend your belt. It's not like they just popped up and told you, oh yeah, you're going to be defending your belt in February. And they told you that shit 2 months ago. No, you knew. You had time to prepare. But you was fucking off, lack of discipline, eating taquitos and tostados and enchiladas and burritos and shit. Fucked your whole game off. Now you talking about your next fight, you want Tank Davis. Ain't nobody looking at you like that. You ain't a draw. I don't look at Jojo Diaz as a draw. I think Jojo Diaz should try to get another fight with maybe Tevin Farmer or maybe Leo Santa Cruz or maybe Tank Davis if they willing to put the money up for that fight. But I don't think he deserves a Tank Davis fight right
now. Well, I can't say that I don't think he deserves a Tank Davis fight because what is Tank Davis? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who lost their belts to a scale? Tank Davis, Benavidez, now Jojo Diaz.
Yeah, so I can't, didn't Luis Neri lose it to the scales?
Didn't know that one.
But so yeah, I can't say that he did. But the money now, that's the thing. Since that's what everybody's chasing, he don't deserve the money fight. The problem is with Tank Davis, and the reason I don't want to say he don't deserve a Tank Davis fight, because whoever they give it to ain't gonna deserve it. Leo Santa Cruz didn't deserve to be in there with Tank. Nunes didn't deserve to be in there with Tank. Cuellar didn't deserve to be in there with Tank. So whoever they give it to is not really gonna deserve it. So why not Jojo Diaz? Right? So that's why I don't really want to say a deserving of a Tank fight, because Tank ain't this shit. He ain't no fucking prize. That dude still got shit to do himself. His best fight is Pedraza.
That's his biggest name.
That's his best fight and biggest name. His best fight at 35 is Gamboa. So at 30, your best fighter is Pedraza. At 35, your best fighter is Gamboa. Dude, you got a lot of work to do. And he about to be 27 this year.
And he's the star. He's the star.
Whatever.
Meanwhile, you got this guy that's over here to my right, your left, sitting there fighting back-to-back killers. Back-to-back killers.
Talking about going up to see. You see, talking about if he has to go up, you know, and give Josh and them time, he talking about fighting Zepeda and then moving on to Taylor Ramirez or just going straight to Taylor Ramirez. So just look at the path. That's why I say you can't say that he's ducking Devin Haney or that the Haneys are ducking him because they really want to fight. But he ain't ducking no fucking Devin Haney talking about fighting Zepeda or Ramirez or Josh Taylor. How is that? He's not talking about, ain't nobody worried about Haney when you looking at fighting those guys at a higher weight class and you've already done more than Haney. It's not a such thing as ducking Haney. The thing is, why should he keep? See, listen, it's what they say about any fighter. What is it that these Haney fans want? Do they really want to overly drain Teofimo? Because then they're not going to want to hear that he was overly drained. So what they want is a legitimate fight. And the legitimate fight, if the kid has to wait too long to fight Devin Haney, is going to be at 140, where neither of them are overly drained. So you can see what the legitimate fight is. Their only complaint, again, is 4-belt undisputed. Without Kambosos Jr., that's not a factor. Right? So whatever, man.
Got you. So what do we see? We see Castano fighting Jamel next or Tszyu next? As we're going to close out, we see Jamel. We see Castano fighting Jamel next or Tszyu next. I say Jamel because I don't think Uncle Al was going to let that slide away like that. I think he's going to keep it in house.
I think that the PBC is going to get Jamel in there, fam. I can't okay, so this whole Spence thing in the PBC, at least for Spence, it may have backfired, but I knew that they were going to get Spence in there for Ugas. They weren't going to let Crawford get that third belt, right? But Crawford might be getting ready to get Pacquiao. So, fuck you. Take the third belt. I'm getting ready to get Pacquiao, right?
Right.
So even still, which I think Crawford totally deserves it. I'm the biggest Spence fan ever, but I think Crawford totally deserves the Pacquiao fight. But it's the same thing with Al. Do you really think that they let 4-belt undisputed slip through their grasp to control all of the belts over there? I don't think they're going to let that happen. I don't think they're going to let that slip through their hands, man. And they'll pay whatever it takes to make it happen. They'll pay Tszyu step aside money, something. They'll pay him.
Pay him off real quick. Take this. Let us make this happen. We'll get to you on the next one.
And I don't know what everybody's thinking. Let me say this real quick, too. Charlo knocked Tszyu ass out, too. What's wrong with y'all people, man?
What do you think is next for Warrington? Do you think he should kind of hang him up? You think he's kind of did all he could do? You see him, being a 2-time world champion?
Warrington is a gatekeeper. That's right. That's right. I said it. A gatekeeper. Get mad. Get mad, Timmy. I know you just said something to me.
So what do you think about Commey? Who do you think is next for Commey?
Look, man. Commey should seek whoever don't lock up right now. As far as I'm concerned, this is how things are looking to shake out. Devin Haney's mandatories are both going to duck him and fight each other. Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna is probably going to fight each other, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. Both of his mandatories going to duck him and fight each other. Devin Haney's probably going to jump in there with Jorge Linares, right? Bob Arum is in talks now to get Lomachenko in there mixed up with Teofimo Lopez. I mean, not Teofimo Lopez, Masayoshi Nakatani, Lomachenko and Nakatani. And then Teofimo Lopez is about to take George Kambosos Jr., right? So when we look at what's left out there, what do you got? What do you got for him to do? Right? Does he take on an opponent that was a loss to someone, like say Felix Verdejo? Maybe a match with Felix Verdejo. All right, because there's not much left. Guys are pretty much locked up right now. So, what path is there for him except to wait for a winner of one of these matches and then challenge them?
Got you. What do you think should be next for Jojo Diaz?
Jojo, man. Just get back to the drawing board, bro, because I don't think it's over for Jojo. I kind of agree with you. He was out of shape, and that's all Jojo's. It's not even really. It wasn't even a loss. I mean, it's a draw, so he still don't even have a loss on his record. So just get back in the gym, get back to the drawing board. But I don't know what they're gonna do about the vacant title fight.
That's what I was just gonna say.
I wouldn't imagine that they're gonna put him right back in it for a vacant title fight. He's gonna have to fight a top level opponent, and then try to get himself back into title contention. But Jojo, I think, is okay. I don't think that it's over for him or anything like that. Just get back in the gym and get back in the ring, because I still think he could become a champion again. And look, Jojo Diaz has a chance to beat Tank. Do I believe he will beat Tank? I'm not sure. But I think he has a chance to beat him. I really do. I think he has a chance to beat Tank. I think Berchelt has a chance to beat Tank.
I think Berchelt
has a chance to beat Tank. Shakur, I think he has a chance to stay away and outbox Tank, because he can definitely outscore Tank. Definitely, he can do that, right? So he lasts 12 rounds, he can outbox and outscore Tank. So Jojo's still in the mix. He just fucked up on the scales, bro. He screwed himself on the scales, but he's definitely still in the mix.
So basically, I think Jojo Diaz is gonna come back. I think he's gonna be one of the ones to get in a position to get a title shot, get his IBF belt back. I think with this happening, I think it puts Tevin Farmer back in the mix, because now you're starting to hear more from Tevin Farmer. He's starting to come out, start to talk more, or whatever. So we may see something happen with Tevin Farmer, possibly. Commey, I think Commey, sky's the limit for him. I think he's gonna make some noise. He's showing people that he just came off of his loss from Teofimo. He come back and make this performance. Richard Commey is still Richard Commey. You got to put some respect on his name. I do feel like Warrington, and I know Obi, you think is disrespectful, but I think he is a gatekeeper. I don't see nothing special about Warrington when it comes to fighting these top dogs out here, these upper echelon fighters, whether if it's on the UK side or especially in the American side. I don't see Josh Warrington doing anything significant in boxing with these top guys and these up and coming fighters in the division. I just don't see him doing nothing. I see him being the guy that you fight to establish yourself in the division. Outside of that, I don't see Warrington coming back, becoming the world champion. I just don't see it. I just don't. I don't. And it's not.
I don't even see him beating a lot of these guys, bro. Like, look at the guys in his division. I don't even see him beating the guys. He had a tough enough fight with Galahad. It's not like Galahad's the number one guy in that division.
He's not even one of the number one guys in like in the UK. You know what I mean? Like, it's like he was on the come up when they fought. When Kid Galahad fought, he was coming up. He wasn't the top dude out there. He was just coming up. You know what I mean?
Those guys, man. I don't know, bro. Like I said, at 126, I think Abner Morris might come back and beat up Josh Warrington with one eye.
She gotta get your shit on with one eye, bro. Come on, Abner, come back. Bring your one-eyed ass back and whip some shit up. But that's all the time I got, man. It's nap time for my babies, man. Thank you, D. Jeff, Speaking Mind Sports Star, for sliding on. If you have not subscribed, please go subscribe to D. Jefferson, Speaking Mind Sports Talk. And also subscribe to D. Jefferson's D and JB's Debate Cage. He also got another channel with that one.
Yeah.
Subscribe to that one too, man. Yep. So, any closing thoughts, D, before I get up out of here?
No, bro. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you, bro. Good
All
discussion.
good, man. Well, how